Hello! Now, I wanted to talk about something near and dear to my heart today. Recently, it was brought to my attention by my stream that the community has a little bit of perception that there's been a wee bit of slander going around about a particular ego. I'm sure many of you could guess what ego I'm talking about today, but for those of you who didn't read the title, we're here to talk about soda. We're here to talk about the myth, the legend, the soda. We're here to bring the carbonated glory of this ego to the light of day. Now, you could be like, alright, Fyddle, I think you lost it. I think you've had a little bit too much going to your head. I mean, look at that first hit. It doesn't even scale. It's flat HP. And I would say, yes, it's consistently bad. So you know what to expect from it. And you're like, but Fyddle, it's not consistent. It could heal SB. Oh, so what I'm hearing is, sometimes it's consistently really good. Oh, hang on. And then you're like, but Fyddle, the last line doesn't do anything because Lou doesn't have any poise. I would say, oh yeah, so you can consistently ignore this line. So it's sometimes meh, and then sometimes good. You know what? That sounds like a fun time to me. I like throwing my resources at a slot machine. Sounds like a great time. Next, let's talk about the corrosion. Yeah, we don't talk about this. I can't defend this corrosion. I'm never corroding this thing, especially for 6 gluttony. Yeah, when back to the fun tab. Sure, it has a low attack weight, but I would ask you, is a 27 gonna lose? No, it's probably not gonna lose. It's still gonna win its clash. This doesn't matter that much unless you're trying to clash against a big thing. And it's a fun ability that hits 3 dudes. 3 dudes. That's so fun. And it's made even better in the new Intravolo because it is a blunt envy and most enemies are weak to both those things in the new Intravolo. So we get extended value. But here's the real truth. Here's where the real power of soda comes from. The passive. This passive used to be not as good. Because this last line, the amount is reset at the start of a new wave. Well, that sucks. Because normally there's only like 6 enemies per wave, so this is not hitting the 9 until 4 things die. And most things are already dead, and then I guess you could get a little bit of sanity fixing before the next wave, but it's gonna be a max of like, what, 18? It's not gonna be that good. But hang on. Wait a minute. The new battle type is chain battles. And I don't know if anyone has noticed this, but those are, most of the time, just one wave. One wave, normally about 10 to 12 enemies. Suddenly, this is a lot more appealing. Suddenly, this is fixing our sanity issues. Suddenly, the magical girl transformation into a fisherman is looking sweet. Suddenly, I'm running soda all the time on all my loos. I mean, I'm doing that anyways. As you can tell, I have it tier 4. I have it tier 4, mostly because I love the animation, and I love the impact and sound of it. So this is a more feels over reels, but my feelings care not for your facts. So now you're like, hang on, did he just back up and he has, what am I looking at here? What's this brew? This brew is why I like soda. Because it can do so many cheeky things with charge. I love it. I love playing this thing. So first you're like, what? These 4, they need a lot of gloom. And you don't have an insane number of gloom generators. I would be like, yeah, that's correct. I'm not using Gloom that much. Gloom is mostly being used on Soda and passives. And you're like, what? That doesn't make sense. Aren't you using it on Fluid Sacs? No. Fluid Sacs are for the weak. Fluid Sacs are for those who are anticipating failure, who need the heal, who need the sanity fixing. We don't need sanity fixing because we're living the carbonated dream that is Soda. So, since we don't need Fluid Sacs and we're not going to be consuming Gloom, we're going to run the best passive for our Faust. The scale, our Faust's damage is going to the moon. And you're like, but hang on, this doesn't look insane damage here. This is just temple. I've seen this a million times. And I would be like, yeah, you've seen it a million times. But have you actually read this passive? Now, if you've seen my multi-crack Faust video, you would know I'm a temple gamer. That this thing is amazing. And in my mirror dungeons, when I run this team, Faust is doing more damage than any of my other IDs on my normal runs. She is just scaling to the moon. Because a lot of people don't realize Temple is not capped on the percentage charge increase it gives. Meaning, if you're running Faust in the first slot and Heathcliff is in the support slot, that's right, he's not mainline, and you're like, okay, well, how are you getting charge? Temple from Dawn and the bubbles from Lou. So, and she's also getting bubbles from Oust. So with this Heathcliff, she is able to get a max of 25 charge. Which means this just says she's doing 50% more damage. This also makes it so her skill 1 is a neutral on the charge count. Technically it's a -1 because you're going to lose charge at the end of the turn, but you know, what are numbers anyways. So since we're running this, and we're not consuming Gloom like crazy, Soda's looking more appealing. Soda's looking like it's fixing our sanity. And then it also gives us an envy resonance. And you're like, well, why would we need a full stack of envy? Like, is the envy resonance that important? Well, when we're doing some electric screaming, suddenly it is. I should tier 4 this. This should have been tier 4 before Soda. But anyways, I digress. As you can see, we want the envy resonance. And we're even running the good old Mersault, who can also give us buffs for envy resonance. That gives envy damage up the self and to all affected allies. Which means envy damage up on these two characters. Which is extremely good, because what's your hardest hitting abilities? Oh, what's that? That's not skills. There we go. Whoopsie. It's gonna be this thing. It's gonna be the deer. It's gonna be the rift. A rip. Sorry, I always thought it was rift. And then we're doing other cheeky things. Like Faust, we're trying to line up this with Faust. Which, by the way, this works really good with Faust. If it hits her. I think technically it's going to hit Mersault most of the time. But it still works with Mersault pretty well too, because it's going to make his skill 1 hit harder. Which is nice. Honestly, she could probably be replaced, now that I'm looking at it. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. We're going to get the support passive from Lou Association, which is going to make them even better with the damage they deal on their skill 3s. And it's going to be so good. And then we can just spam egos like Electric Scream on these characters. Because guess what? We're getting sanity fixing. we're easily fixing sanity. We're getting scaling from things like this, where we're getting more damage. It's gonna be beautiful. So yeah, this is my address to Soda. But the biggest thing I would say is I just like running it. Like, sure, most of this video has been a meme, but in all seriousness, like, if you're looking for advice on what to craft, I would put Soda more mid-tier. I wouldn't say it's the worst ego, in my opinion, but I also wouldn't say it's a must, or not this, that's a must craft. Like, if you were to ask me what egos to, like, upgrade first or anything like that, I wouldn't recommend this to a new player, but I still, again, don't think it's the worst. And with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. Remember to like, subscribe, leave comments, leave all your comments. I'm sure there's a lot of you who dispute what I'm saying. And I would like to remind all of you that my feelings do not care about your facts. And I will see you later.